Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. Today we embark on a journey deep into the Arctic, where the ice holds secrets older than time itself. Imagine standing in a vast frozen wilderness, where the air is sharp and the silence is unbroken, until one moment changes everything. A scientist, driven by curiosity, stumbles upon something extraordinary beneath the ice, something that shouldn't be there. What he discovers will challenge everything he thought he knew. But is the world ready for what lies hidden beneath the surface? Stay with me, because this story is only just beginning. It was definitely not an ordinary day for the scientific team in the Arctic area. Lead scientist Peter noticed something magnificent in the ice, but he couldn't exactly find out what it was. However, it was just a matter of seconds before the entire team was immediately on their way to get that piece of ice to the lab. But little did they know that a creature would still live in this coffin of ice. God knows how long this creature had been frozen in ice before Peter found it. He knew that this could be the discovery of a lifetime and could not wait to get it freed from its icy prison. But when Peter finally gets through the frozen wall and sees what it is that he is dealing with, he is stunned by the true magnitude of his find. He had brought people with him from the scientist camp to help him get behind the wall of ice and come face to face with what could be his greatest discovery. The crew starts to carefully chip away at the ice until they finally get close enough to get an idea of what they are dealing with. The workers all take a step back from the shock. Some even start to make their way back to the entrance of the ice cave. Peter just drops to his knees. How is this possible? But what did Peter discover in the ice wall? How had he even found this ice cave in the first place? And could this possibly be a discovery that the world would be better off without? With century-old ice melting at an alarming rate over the past couple of decades, more and more secrets that were once hidden beneath it are becoming accessible, potentially revealing incredible things to be discovered, or things that should better be left untouched. Explorers from all over the world are ready to pounce on these opportunities, trying to forever cement their names in the history books. Most of these explorers fail dramatically in their efforts, but Peter, a 36-year-old scientist, is not most explorers. His most recent mission proved that his journey would take him to northern Greenland, land that was previously completely inaccessible and thus still very much unexplored. With the effects of climate change, this has recently changed, and Peter is determined to use this opportunity, and use it he did when he made the discovery of a lifetime there. Peter sets out on a challenging journey, equipped with minimal supplies, to uncover something hidden beneath the ice. The first few weeks test his endurance, but his determination keeps him going. The harsh conditions and dwindling supplies make Peter question his decision, yet he pushes on. Weeks of isolation bring him to a wide ice plain where he spots something unusual, a rock formation. It feels like his last chance to find what he's been searching for. Approaching the formation, Peter notices a breeze coming through holes between the rocks. This anomaly sparks his curiosity. Could it lead to something extraordinary? He removes a heavy rock, revealing a hole that seems to slope downward. Despite the risks and his isolation, Peter decides to investigate. Cautiously, he descends into the hole, which quickly transforms into a narrow, icy tunnel. The further he goes, the tunnel widens, and the entrance fades into a small dot of light. Peter's seasoned experience as an explorer compels him to continue, despite knowing the dangers of being alone. Deep inside, Peter encounters an ice wall unlike the others. Its dark silhouette piques his curiosity. Shining his light, he realizes there's something behind it, but its nature remains unclear. His mind races with possibilities as he considers what to do next. Surrounded by uncertainty and realizing the gravity of his situation, Peter knows it's time to act sensibly. He can't unravel this mystery alone. With a reluctant but wise decision, he resolves to return for help, ensuring he can safely explore this discovery another day. The journey isn't over, but for now, Peter's curiosity has found a balance with caution. Before leaving, he pulls out a piece of paper and begins to map out the cave as best he can. He wants to be sure he can find this place again. Only once he has done this does he make his way back to the entrance of the cave. He was definitely leaving, but only for now. There was something here, and he had to know what it was. It was fairly easy to find his way back to the tunnel. Going uphill was another battle, but Peter makes it. By the time he gets out and back to the surface, it's dark. He needs to set up his camp soon, or he'll freeze. While he gets to work on that, he makes his plan for tomorrow. He's got some work to do. With his plan in mind, he gets ready to sleep. He's going to head back to the nearest village, a 2-day hike. From there, he's going to recruit a group of people to help him get through the ice wall. Throughout the night, Peter dreams of the dark silhouette. What could it be? A new species? Something made by humans a long time ago? Chuckling to himself, he even considers the idea of Bigfoot, but that's absurd. He barely gets any sleep, but come morning, Peter is ready to take off at the first rays of sunlight. He had noted his exact location on a digital map he had downloaded, but this was very inaccurate as the map was way too zoomed out. So he did his very best to remember the exact location while journeying back. He had picked out certain landmarks that helped him pinpoint the exact location of the cave again. He was determined to find his way back to the cave, whatever it takes. Nobody would stop him. This could be life-changing. Peter already pictured himself famous in town. He is quickly able to round up some guys willing to help him out for money. He doesn't tell them much about what he thinks he found, keeping it vague, just stating that he needs some help digging something out from the ice. People in this area are willing to do anything for money. Will twisting the real truth catch up to him? Luckily, the townspeople are not interested in asking a lot of questions and are just interested in making a quick buck. They get supplies, tools, and snow scooters capable of traversing the terrain. Between this and paying the helpers, Peter sees his bank account drain very fast, but he is willing to spend every penny he has, even go into debt if necessary, as long as he can make this discovery. He just feels like this will cement his place in history forever. He always wanted to be famous for something he would discover. Deep down, he knew this was his moment of fame. The next day, they attempt to travel back to find the exact location, but this is a lot more difficult than Peter had hoped. Could they even find the cave again? Luckily, they can easily find the general area because Peter noted it on the map. However, a snowstorm had been raging for the past 24 hours, covering much of the area in snow. The entrance was nowhere to be found. Peter got a bit desperate. How could this happen? The landmarks that Peter had tried to remember were mostly covered, making the search for the cave a lot more difficult. Luckily, it doesn't take long before one of the helpers, poking the ground with a stick, suddenly feels it shoot through the snow and falls down. He had poked the stick straight into the snowed-in hole. Could this be the entrance that Peter had found just the day before? This must be the place. Peter's heart skips a beat. This is it. This is all he had been able to think about for the past couple of hours. They make their way down the hole as quickly as possible, but they still have to be careful. The whole way down is slippery, and Peter does not want anyone getting hurt. He is on the verge of making his discovery. When Peter sets foot in the big cave again, it is exactly how he remembers it. He almost sprints to the cave to get to his frozen treasure, finding it again within minutes. There it is, the huge wall with the silhouette inside it. Peter was extremely disappointed. It was still a great find, but not what he expected it to be. However, maybe these drawings could be an even more significant find. He had to get the news out as fast as he could. Peter knows that it is now time to inform the media and his peers. In hindsight, it cost him a lot of time, money, and effort, but now he was part of the history books. Peter was credited with the discovery, and his name would forever be cemented in history. It was and still remains his crowning achievement as a scientist. He might not have gotten rich from the discovery, but he cared more about the credit anyway.